Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a vinyl update, where I talk about some records that have recently made their way into my collection, and I don't edit it because I do it raw! And I know I just did one recently, but there are a handful of records here that I wanted to talk about before the holidays, especially considering that one of them was given to me by our usual sponsor for the vinyl update segments, Eclectic, the official record store of the Eclectic Music Society. If you're looking to get somebody some vinyl or some kind of music-related gift, and you're sort of in a rush before the holidays, and you want to get some quick shipping or whatever on that, that's definitely a place to go to do so. And this record I'm about to show you is over there, and many more. The Marvin Gaye album, What's Going On? That's really not how the melody goes on the song there. But anyway, if you guys caught my Classics Week stint last year, I believe, I talked about this record and many others, but this was a classic according to me during that week. It still is. And yeah, you know, this is a vinyl reissue. Of course, it's like brand spanking new. But still, I mean, the record sounds really clean, sounds fantastic. It's a nice pressing as well as, well, not as well as, but I like how we have the labeling here on the LP, as well as in the record too, and it's just all very vintage looking. You know, they've stayed true to the original look of the album, and I like that. I think it's great, and it's just really fantastic to, you know, I've had this record digitally, and it's just great to kind of admire it in its physical form and listen to just the warmth of this old school analog recording on a record. And yeah, I mean, just a beautiful cover art. Beautiful. Again, show you the gatefold. It is quite a nice gatefold. Got all the lyrics there. Picture collage. Marvin Gaye. What's Going On? Great addition. All right, this next one, actually quite a few records in this one are new. Records that I've actually reviewed recently. So here's one that I bought over at the local record store. Psychic by Darkside, the new Nicholas Jarre, Dave Harrington duo project. Very simple packaging on this thing, but we do have a double LP, and these 12 inches are to be played at 45 RPM, a lot like that Queens of the Stone Age record I showed you in the last update. See that? See those sleeves? See those sleeves? And we have the sleeves over here on the other side listing the tracks of the record. And the records are very pristine sounding and in great condition. I mean, they're brand new and they look wonderful. Get a nice reflection off of that into the other room. And yeah, I mean, there's not much I can say. The packaging isn't like blowing me away or nothing, but I mean, it's good. The one thing that's sort of odd about the packaging is dog's squeaking a dog toy. The binder title is actually not on the opposite side of the opening in the cover. The opening is actually on top, so the mouth is on top of this record. So yeah, I mean, it's the only real odd thing about the packaging, but it's still a great electronic music record, in my opinion. An interesting combination of just electronic sounds, some really dark synthesizers, spacious beats, and Dave Harrington's guitar playing. A very interesting record. It's interesting to see sort of psychedelic and rock sounds come together with electronic music in such a cohesive way. All right, next. Another album I reviewed this year, another double LP that needs to be played at 45, the new Miriam the Believer album, Blood Donation. Such a stunning little front cover here. Not only is the picture beautiful, and I love this, that picture of her with her hand coming out of her head. Creepy. Anyway, I just love the glossy photo that they threw on the front of this thing. You have like this matte finish on the background and then this very just seamless adhesion of this very beautiful looking glossy photo. Two very nice sleeves here. Not a gatefold or anything. You know, you have the lyrics over here, liner notes over here. Flip them around. You get some colorful psychedelic imagery over here. Oh, and guess what color the vinyl is? No, not black. No, it's not green. No, it is not red like blood, even though the album is called Blood Donation. That would have been nice. It's white. It's a beautiful sparkling white. So yeah, I mean, this, you know, to have this record is fantastic because this record is not out in the U.S. from what I understand. This came from Europe. And if you're looking for a vinyl copy of this thing, that's where you're going to have to get it from what I understand right now. Anyway, really nice SG. She's got their very beautiful white SG in that picture. Anyway, right now this is on Pious Cooperative as well as Repeat Until Death, Moshi Moshi Records. I believe my copy came from the people at Moshi Moshi. If you're looking for a vinyl copy of this and you don't mind paying a little bit extra because you're getting it imported from somewhere else, it's a song on here that I like. It's a song on here. Somewhere else. Anyway, if you don't mind paying a little extra to get this thing from another country sent out to you, then pick it up. And, you know, if you have some connections with a label or you're a label person and you're watching this and you haven't heard this record, do check this out. This is Mariam Wallentin of Wild Birds and Peace Drums. I know Wild Birds and Peace Drums are not the hottest thing out right now, but I mean, this is a really good record that I think deserves a North American release. I mean, you know, her voice is fantastic, the guitar playing is great, the songwriting is memorable. I already said her voice is fantastic, but her singing is just like my favorite thing about that record. Definitely one of my favorite records of the year, but List Week is coming up. Don't want to give too much away. Another one of my favorite records of this year, decided to pick it up because it's my favorite album of theirs in a while. The new Melt Banana album, Fetch. I was at the record store in my area and Red Scroll Records, and I was DJing, and I picked this record up when I was there, and there was this kid who picked up a CD copy of this record and was talking to his mother like a few feet away from me, and it was like nobody else was paying attention to this. I was like the only audience to this, and it was the most hilarious thing in the world. He was looking at this record cover and he was like, "Oh my God, look at his eye! Look at how big his eye is!" And he's just like pointing out all the monster's eyes on this thing, and then he's like pointing at the cat. He's like, "Oh my God, are they gonna eat the cat?" It was hilariously cute, and I loved it. Here's the front, the back. Interesting little plastic sleeve going on with this record, one of those deals. And one thing that is kind of an essential if you're listening to Melt Banana, only because of how they're entertaining in themselves, the lyrics. Yes, the lyric sheet to this or any Melt Banana record, like I said, is really entertainment in and of itself. You don't even really need the record, just buy the lyric sheet if you possibly can. Let me see. I don't want to see double-faced craps. I don't want to hear fuzzy tamed noise. I don't want to care fickle, lame brats. I'm sick of chasing for my tail. Here's my fury late stingy lail? Which one to sell on net? Question mark. I'm still here. I'm still lost in this fucking dear planet. Gonna need to dive more into these lyrics. Not expecting to completely understand much of anything, because I know Melt Banana does embrace the tenets of absurdity when it comes to their lyrics, but I am expecting to read through these and just get a bunch of imagery and just strange ideas thrown at me that may make me giggle or sort of scratch my head for a moment there. And let's see, another two oldies, but definitely goodies in my opinion. Things that records that I have admired for a while but have not picked up on vinyl, and I saw that they were reissued here with some pretty interesting packaging with posters and digital downloads and all that. These two new repressings of these Crass records, Penis Envy and Feeding of the 5000. Penis Envy being my favorite of the two, and quite possibly my favorite Crass record. Crass is a punk rock band through and through, hailing from the UK. Probably one of the most unadulterated punk bands ever, really sort of sidestepping all of the poppier elements that many punk bands in that time period embraced to make really great and catchy and memorable music. Crass really favored instead brittle production instead of really catchy, ultra catchy or sweet or melodic hooks. Noisy, just harsh guitars, shouted vocals that were memorable, but not because they were really repetitive or had anything infectious about them in terms of just like a traditional chorus. They were more memorable for how grim and unrelenting and uncompromising a lot of the politically charged imagery on these records were. And I'm really a huge fan of female-fronted post-punk bands and art punk bands, and that definitely makes Penis Envy a favorite of mine in Crass's discography, because I believe it's the only record of theirs that features lead vocals from Eve Libertine. Let me see. On pretty much every track. I'm looking at the liner notes over here, but if not just from her, I believe it's the only Crass record that features female vocals this prominently. And not just that they're female. I mean, Eve Libertine is an incredibly eccentric vocalist with just some really strong bite to her political commentary on this record, whether it be about religion or love or war. I believe one of my favorite tracks on here in terms of just like topic is where next Columbus, talking about how you have all these leaders leading people into these leading society really into all these terrible situations. I mean, the music is noisy and very visceral and very in your face and ballsy, and reading into the lyrics is just a totally, just a completely different trip in itself, simply because of just how many points, I guess, the band makes. I wouldn't say you necessarily need to agree with anything that they think, but, their criticism certainly is sharp. So I just wanted to show you guys, this is the Feeding of the 5000 cover art. And we've essentially got kind of like a paper poster here, collage, lots of lyrics strewn throughout. And what this unfolds into is pretty freaking killer. This gruesome picture of a hand on like barbed wire, and it says, "Your country needs you." Not exactly not exactly mincing words, which is why I love bands like Crass, which is why I love bands like Dead Kennedys. Maybe Dead Kennedys even more, because they managed, in my opinion, to sort of not mince words at all, but also make songs that are really catchy and really memorable. But still, that's no slight to Crass. Crass certainly had personality. In a lot of ways, Crass set precedent for music that is this socially, I don't want to say socially aware, I want to say socially nasty. Because there's certainly a lot of socially aware music out there, but has a, has maybe a sort of a smiley attitude because of how enlightened the music might feel, or the music might still feel lighthearted or something like that. Whereas Crass is, they're singing about some really rough stuff, and the music, the aura of their sound certainly gives off that aesthetic too. Really apocalyptic, dismal stuff in here. I mean, so many gender issues addressed on this album alone, and the title is Penis Envy. You've got a blow-up doll on the front. You know, just like so many layers of social commentary happening in every direction, with some really grimy, crusty punk music to match it. So, Feeding of the 5000 and Penis Envy, two favorite punk records of mine. Cool? Cool. That's basically everything right now that I recently picked up. That's it for this vinyl update. Again, thank you to Eclectic for throwing that Marvin Gaye record my way. Check out their site if you're in the market for any vinyl right now. Holiday season, and that's it. Cool. Already said that. Tran. Zishin, if you've given any of these... Zishin, if you've given any of these records a listen, what did you think of them? Also, I'm sure somewhere in this screen right now you can find a link to go watch other vinyl video updates of mine, and I know there is a link in the description down there where you can find a playlist of all of my vinyl updates, actually a whole list of videos of my entire record collection from A to Z as well, just the 12-inch LPs though. Yeah, cool. All right. Anthony Fantano, vinyl, forever.